But there we go again. I'm just gonna keep cracking up. Oh my God. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most private of them all? The Sussex Worldwide Privacy Tour by now is such a farce that there's literally no point even debunking it or arguing against it. But after this incredibly cheeky display, I thought I'd weigh in a little bit. Some of you may know already that I live in Japan now. 3 years ago, I wasn't living in Japan, but I visited for the first time. And during that visit, OG subscribers, the loyal ones of you out, what am I saying? Might remember a video I made about Princess or former Princess Mako and how she was forced effectively to give up her princess title and her position in the royal family or imperial family in exchange for marrying the love of her life, Kei Komuro. The reason for that being, at the time, Japanese law required that female princesses gave up everything if they were to marry a commoner. And seeing as there are no viable prospects for them to marry royals, they are inevitably going to be marrying a commoner. So they have two choices. They either remain an unmarried princess or give everything up in the name of love, which is what Princess Mako, former princess, I keep slipping. I mean, she's a princess of the blood, right? So she's always technically a princess, but that's what she ended up choosing. Now, if you're wondering what on earth this has to do with Meghan Markle, I would invite you to watch my video from 3 years ago because I tried my best to cover the whole Princess Mako situation there. And also, I made a direct comparison between the two because Meghan likes to pretend that she had to give up everything to marry Prince Harry and become a duchess, as though it wasn't the other way around where, you know, there really wasn't much to give up and she had everything to gain from this marriage. And so Princess Mako was the perfect person to use as a direct comparison of what it's really like to, I suppose, give up everything or sacrifice a lot in the name of love. The reality versus the fiction or the performance. Here we are 3 years later, where another opportunity for a direct comparison between the two has arisen to once again showcase the reality from the performance, the fiction, the lie. Before we get into it though, I mentioned that the law in Japan stipulated that any female member of the Japanese imperial family would lose her position within the imperial family in terms of her titles and royal privileges if she were to marry a commoner. Only this month, we're still in July, so earlier this month, the law surrounding Japan's imperial family has been recently amended. By the way, before I forget, if you want to skip this part and jump straight to the, Meghan Markle stuff that a lot of you are interested in, here is a timestamp because I'm feeling particularly generous today. Those of you who don't stick around don't lose anything, actually. So I have nothing to tempt you with, unfortunately. So in a nutshell, the Japanese imperial family is dwindling. Their numbers are dwindling very quickly, and it's becoming a problem. It's threatening its very existence. The reason being that they barely have any male heirs. If these male heirs don't have male children, well, females can't inherit the throne. That part has not changed, even with the recent reforms. And so, yeah, they're basically dying out. In an effort to remedy this, the Japanese government passed a law to ensure that there are enough imperial family members, including, of course, most crucially, heirs to the throne. Currently, there are 16 members of the imperial family. 5 are unmarried adult women. There are only 3 viable heirs to the throne. Of course, all of them are men, and only one of them is young enough really to start, an entire family, an entire legacy. But if he doesn't have a son, that ain't gonna happen. The problem is the imperial family has been losing members, viable members of its family to marriage, namely its female members. Since World War II, 8 members of the imperial family have left this way, including, of course, Princess Mako. So with these changes I've been mentioning, women can now remain as members of the imperial family, even if they marry a commoner. I'm not certain if this law has a retroactive effect, by the way. I tried looking it up, couldn't find the answers. Maybe the answers are in Japanese, and while I am learning, there's a lot of kanji. I still can't read. But even if it did apply retroactively, I highly doubt Princess Mako has any interest in rejoining the fray now that she set up her life in New York. But this does mean that, say, her younger sister, who is still unmarried, decides to marry a commoner, which is really her only viable option, then she will remain a princess. There is a catch, though. None of her children can be included in the line of succession. That's because, according to this new law, their husbands, their spouses, and their children will be legally recognized as commoners still. So it kind of gets you thinking, I don't want to offend any Japanese, any Nihonjin out there watching, but it kind of makes me wonder, well, then what's the point? If there's no legacy, then we're just going to come back to the same problem again. They have come up with a solution of sorts, which doesn't make much sense to me, but again, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, where the new law would allow the adoption of male descendants of the paternal line of 11 former imperial family branches that lost their status in 1947. They have to be at least 15 years old, unmarried, and childless, and male. Furthermore, they wouldn't be able to succeed the throne themselves, but their children would be able to, again, assuming their children are male. So I don't know. I feel like this is a gamble, a biological gamble, unless you, I guess, go to a fertility or, those clinics where you can, a genetics, I don't know what it's called, eugenics clinic where you can select the gender of your baby. That would solve the issue, I guess. Or you could just let females inherit the throne or be a part of the line of succession, have their children be a part of the line of succession. I don't know. Seems like an easy fix, but again, that's just me. I understand I'm not Nihonjin, and my background and my beliefs and my morals and my values and the way my brain works can be different, of course. One interesting thing in terms of comparing it to the British royal family is that while women who didn't have male siblings could inherit the throne, of course, throughout history, it wasn't until 2015, so the year of Charlotte's birth, which is no coincidence, that women couldn't inherit the throne as long as they had living brothers. So let's say Charlotte was the firstborn and she had a younger brother, whether George or Louis, they would inherit the throne, not her. But thanks to the reforms introduced by Her late Majesty in 2015 as part of the Succession to the Crown Act, the rules have been updated, and now sisters or, females can inherit the throne, notwithstanding the fact that they have a living younger brother. When I found out about this reform, I naturally Googled Princess Mako and, wanted to see, it's been 5 years, I believe, since she gave up her title in 2021, and 5 years since she married her sweetheart. I remember some of the feedback I got in the video that I made about her 3 years ago was that people really didn't trust her husband, and they were worried that he was more of a Meghan Markle opportunist type. I wasn't aware of that when I made the video, but I was educated in the comments section. I personally didn't get that vibe. I researched as much as I could, but of course I'm researching in English because I only know around 150 kanji and there are over 2,000. So I got a long way to go. But it appears that he's kept a really low profile along with his wife in New York, where he works as a lawyer. I'm not aware of any interviews or any tell-alls that he has offered in exchange for money. And it's been 5 years. So unless I'm missing something, and let me know in the comments, it seems like perhaps he just fell in love with a princess and wanted to marry her. To me, this is what real privacy looks like. Unassuming, natural, candid, and rarely seen. I think I do remember saying if he were an opportunist, wouldn't he have not wanted to marry her if she had to give everything up? I mean, let's think about Meghan, right? Would she have married Prince Harry if he had to renounce everything in order to marry her? I think we all know the answer to that. A few of you have asked me whether I tuned in on Sunday to watch Meghan's MasterChef Australia episode. I didn't because I live in Japan. I know that not many people know that. I haven't lived in Australia since 2025. I lived in France, and then an opportunity came up in Japan that I couldn't resist. So I moved here earlier this year in January. But I did look it up online and I saw a few clips. I haven't seen the whole episode, but I've seen enough. I've definitely seen enough. Meghan is a one-trick pony. You know, once you've seen it once, you've seen her once, you've seen it all, basically. And I am questioning why she was even a judge on the show. But of course, it's for views. I'm sure the episode did well. But otherwise, I just don't know what she's brought to the table. Pun very much intended. It was all the usual scripted, really cringe stuff that we're used to seeing from her, including this unplanned, this completely surprising out of the blue FaceTime call that Prince Harry decided to make smack bang in the middle of filming. And not just the middle of filming, but tasting and judging a contestant's dish. How rude and how selfish, how inconsiderate one must be to decide to interrupt a contestant's airtime, all to find a way to just shove Harry into the episode somehow, because Meghan knows that her only appeal and her only value is her royal affiliation through her husband. And even then, I'm starting to question, do people even still care about Prince Harry? I don't know. Which brings us to the photo dump, the summer 2026 photo dump. Meghan has made many a photo dump on her Instagram since she started it. And I've never really commented on them because it's her Instagram. You want to post photos of, your stuff, go ahead. I did comment on how she, puts her children in almost every photo in the past because it just showcases what a hypocrite she is. Generally, though, I don't necessarily think it's something worth critiquing. This photo, it's pretty cheeky, isn't it? And I'm not saying that women of her age shouldn't be wearing bathing suits or exposing, certain parts of their body at the beach. Go for it. But number one, I think there's a difference between just naturally being in a swimsuit and having those body parts exposed without forcing it versus looking like you've hiked up your swimsuit so high deliberately that it looks like it might be painful down there. Initially, I was going to approach this from the point of view of, you're a duchess, act like it. But who are we talking about here? Let's not forget that ship had sailed a very long time ago. I don't think it ever really even existed, that whole, act like a duchess ship. It was just a mirage. We thought it was there and then blip, disappeared. I'm someone who thinks that women and men, but I'm going to talk about women here now, should have some self-respect regardless of what title they hold, what position they hold, and to some extent even how old they are. A lot of people like to use her age against her. I hate that. I think it goes beyond age. I don't know how she thought this photo would serve her in any way. It's not particularly flattering, and I don't mean in a body shape way. I'm not here to body shame anyone. It just doesn't present her in the best light. But, that was unintended. However, we'll just stick with but. It definitely served its purpose. Because that's the whole point of this, isn't it? Exposure. Most of the time, unfortunately, when it comes to the fairer sex, when there's not much substance to offer, or when the woman herself believes, perhaps erroneously, that she doesn't have much to offer other than her body, the body is it. It's the main attraction. And for some women, that behavior and that belief doesn't die out when they get older. And so what might have been slightly more palatable at a younger age starts to really stand out as, like I said, desperation. The more people tune out, the harder she tries. And it's pretty sad to watch, really. Looking at these photos of Princess Mako in contrast, side by side, you just see how one woman genuinely gave everything up for love and wants nothing more than to just live a normal, quiet life with her now growing family. As far as we know, she doesn't have a public Instagram account. We don't see photos of her child. We don't see photos of her and her husband. They are genuinely minding their own business. And they live in New York. There's no shortage of paparazzi. There is no shortage of opportunities to attract attention. And then contrast that with this. On top of everything else they've done, the faux royal tours, the unnecessary interviews. I opened the video by saying the worldwide, privacy tour has thoroughly been so debunked that there's no point even arguing that it was never an earnest desire, because it's so obvious. It's like arguing the sky is blue. But there we go again. I'm just gonna keep cracking up. Oh my god. But I'm not gonna let Meghan alter my vocabulary. Some people genuinely still believe that spiel. They genuinely still believe that they just want to be left alone. You see it in the comments sometimes, not necessarily on YouTube. You do see it on YouTube, but even under articles, you just see people going, leave them alone. They just want to live their lives with their families. Okay, no one's stopping them. But if you're going to put something out there, people are going to comment about it. And if you're going to put something out there that is strategically designed to attract attention and criticism, then that's exactly what you're going to get. What these people don't understand is the critique and the attention is engineered by Meghan. It's by design. She is getting exactly what she wants. So don't worry your pretty little heads over this. Don't waste your breath defending her, because you're just doing her a disservice. In any case, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. If there are any Nihonjin in the audience, please let yourselves be known and weigh in on what you think about these recent legal reforms. Of course, if you're not Japanese, weigh in as well. I'd love to know what you think. But that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for supporting the channel through watching. It helps a lot. And if you want to support the channel further, then you can visit the link to Patreon in the description box below. You will get ad-free versions of all my content there. A little help goes a very long way. And if you can't, you know the drill, you know what's coming. I still heart you. It looks like I broke the heart, but that was not my intention. Or was it? Or was it? Go to Patreon. No, I'm kidding. I still heart you. I know everyone is not in a comfortable financial position necessarily. But yeah, I guess I'll see you here again then. Take care. Until next time. Bye-bye.